DayZ, we're doing a tips and tricks for, I guess you would say, 2022. I usually do this once a year to kind of give you the newest details in the game, talk about the mechanics, and help those from beginners to more experienced players get a grasp of what DayZ has to really offer. So be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So I would say the most essential things, and again, we are going over the basics because this game really doesn't tell you much stuff. We have a character here. We can jump by pressing A. We can crouch by tapping B, and we can hold B to go prone, considering, keep in mind we are on the Xbox platform. And this does actually matter. So if you look in the bottom left corner of the screen, you can see an indicator. And that little indicator that's changing is how much noise I'm making. So the more noise I make, the more zombies and other enemies are going to be attracted to me. So keep in mind when you are moving around, that you want to make less noise. You don't want to make much noise at all because you want to be quiet, you want to move through the environment stealthily. Just, that is a big aspect of things, is how much noise you actually project while you're moving through the world. Cool. Depending on your server, you can double tap the right stick to go into the first person if you would like to have a first person perspective. I usually use third person because it allows me to see the environment a lot more, and again, that's totally up to you. A running mechanic I want to add is if you are running and you hold LB and you use the right stick, you can look around while keeping yourself running forward. I thought this was also something very good to quickly mention, as it will allow you to out-evade zombies and get a look around in your surroundings while not necessarily having to shift your position. And you can also do this, I guess you would say, while you are lying down. Again, LB, and then using the right stick to look in different directions to see different approaches, and you don't have to shift your body weight at all, which is fantastic. You might find yourself coming across a place that has a ladder. You could press X to get on the ladder and to climb, and then you can tap the left stick to climb faster, or you can hold the left stick and it kind of lets you slide down, but keep in mind that sliding without gloves can cause your hands to get cut, and if your shoes get damaged too, that can cause you to get cut as well. So just keep in mind that this is an easy way that you can kind of get down ladders and whatnot when you come across them, as they are something you will very likely find within the world of DayZ. There is a hotkey system, so if you hold RB, you have a hotkey wheel that will change depending on the backpack allotment that you have, and this will allow you to go over and press A to pick up a weapon, or press A to put a weapon away if you like to really easily. So how do we use this system? Well, in order to select stuff, we will have to go to our inventory, which is the back button, and we will have to highlight said item. Let's go down to, say, a gun. You hold in the left stick. You hold the right stick depending on what slot you want. You press A, and it's in that inventory slot, and then you can easily select it and use your weapon. And you can do this for anything you want. Food, items, things like that. So you will need to actually eat in this game. And yes, it is a pain to actually try to find food. Good luck with that. We're just doing tips on tricks and on how to do everything. But yeah. So in the game, you gotta eat, you gotta watch these things on the bottom right corner of the screen. So we got a lot of icons. So let's start with the far left though. Let's jump ahead there. So the far left usually has your contextual thing. It's like, okay, I have this object in my hand, I can eat it. There's an icon there that's green. There's different rarity levels. So some things are like rotten, which you can't use, or ruined, which you can't use. Some things are damaged, which are kind of okay. So you get these little indicators that tell you stuff. Some things can be damp, doesn't usually ruin things, but it could. Then we have our stamina bar. So our stamina bar will actually be lowered based on the items we're holding. Some heavier things, you got like a shovel or something, it's gonna lower, basically your stamina. And then you only have so much stamina to run around with, and you gotta wait for your stamina to get back up. So if you're trying to outrun zombies and you run out of stamina, you are screwed. So try to get in a house. We'll go over some of those techniques a little bit later on. Great. So now on the far right, far right, the little cross, that's your health. It will go up and down very slowly depending on if you've eaten a lot of stuff. So if you have your two icons that are for food and water up high, it will make you kind of heal faster. The icon, which is kind of like a droplet beside that particular cross, is blood. So your blood can get basically out of your body by getting shot, stabbed, slashed, hit by zombies, all that kind of stuff. Beside that is your thermometer. You actually now need to keep yourself cool and warm. Well, basically you just need to keep yourself warm. So fires are kind of important and things like that. So keep that aspect in mind, that you do actually need to watch the weathering and whatnot. Otherwise, you are going to have some problems within this experience because you can kind of freeze and you get sick. So then the next two icons, the food icon there is obviously your food level. You need to keep eating food, but you need to eat food in bits. So if you eat too much food, you will get sick, you will vomit, and then you will be even deeper in the hole for your food and your water. Keep in mind that certain things such as, water bottles obviously give you more stuff like this, actual water, and some food will give you food and water, some will just give you food. You gotta watch, you gotta pick and choose, and you gotta see what everything offers to you. Keep in mind, on top of that, that things such as water bottles or drinking from water places can actually make you sick. So there are these like taps on the map and wells and stuff and rivers that you could drink from, but it'll make you sick. In the past, I was like, oh, you could just drink from anything, because you could. They've updated the game, and some of the things I even say now will likely be changed going forward too. I know there's a lot going on in this game. And then, so we got food, we got water covered, they go up and down, yellow is kind of okay, green, but, full white is great, that's green, that's good to go. In the red, that's really bad. When it blinks, you are in danger. Good luck out there. Oh, and when you leave a server, you need to rejoin your server, otherwise you will be sent to a random place on the map with a 60-second spawn penalty. So that's for server hopping, which I personally don't think is a big deal, but so many people complain about it due to forts and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Don't want to get into it. Beside that, we have a meter that shows that I am wet. There's a droplet over a little water, so my character is damp because it's been raining. Looks like the rain is still going on. And then beside that is a disease icon. So I have some sort of disease. You need to have some kind of medicine to fix the disease, or you gotta wait, and depending on what kind of disease you have, you can die. I mean, if you're eating folks as, like, meat, you could get, like, a crazy kind of laugh going on, and you eventually just, you die. Whatever. Cool. So we've gone over the icons, and we've gone over that stuff. So, some other things are kind of pressing start, and then you can go to online, you can see players, you can mute people if you don't want to deal with that kind of audio thing. You can also... you used to be able to... Okay, there we go, still doing. Down on the D-pad allows you to do in-game voice chatting with others, which is kind of neat. Apparently this also works through parties to some degree, but I can't quite recall there. If you use right on the D-pad, you have communication elements where you can do different things to people. You press A and you can, like, shrug and, all that kind of stuff. So if you like that menu, that's kind of there. Great. So let's dive into weapons and movement and interactions. So you can double tap LB, and that will allow you to do like a zoom in. So that's really helpful. Seriously, like, it makes such a difference if you want to be like, okay, what are we dealing with? What are we seeing here? Okay, there's some clothing items. Great. Now we can see where this stuff is. That's awesome. So that makes a big difference as you zoom in and zoom out. Seriously, it really is helpful just to get an idea of what things are. And I totally forgot that we're actually playing this on the Series S for whatever reason. That's why the resolution's so much lower. I just recorded a review on the Series S. I didn't even think about it before doing the tips and tricks, but whatever. We are rolling, and I am doing very well at this, I think. I'm nailing it. Cool. Let's look at the guns. So we've got a gun here. You can press or hold LT in order to do a little bit of an aim-in. Then you can tap R, or the right stick, and then you will do an all-the-way aim-in so that you can see like a first-person perspective. Then you can hold LB to shift to the left. You can hold RB to shift to the right. Pretty cool, right? So this is like a contextual kind of leaning thing. Not really, but, it makes a big difference if you want to be able to look around. You can also do the leaning when you are, kind of like in the third person. So then you can also lie down, and you can tap RB twice to roll to the side. You can tap LB twice to roll to the side there. And that will allow you to roll under certain objects if you need to. You can tap the RB or LB once either way, and it will allow you to shift shoulder perspectives. So this is LB, this is RB, LB, RB, depending on what you want to do. Cool. Now the guns are a little bit more complicated. You can have attachments and whatnot. So we've got a ammunition thing here. You hold X to remove it from your gun. You tap B to add it to your gun and combine it. You can also drop it on the floor. And then you can tap you can press RT to attach it, or to take it. And it will automatically attach to your gun. We're going to take this off again because we need to look at this a little bit further. So we're going to put the weapon in our inventory. We're going to put this into our hand. So you can hold and wave over basically anything in order to interact with it. But yeah, so we are going to empty the magazine, which is holding RT. That will allow us to drop all of the ammunition that is in the gun, because we actually need to manually reload and use weapons in this game. So now we have the option with the magazine in our hands that we can go to the ammunition and we can press B to combine it, which is pretty cool. So that's how you combine the ammo there. Or with just the magazine in our hand, we can hold the Y button and that will allow us to load the magazine. So you gotta load it all the way up. And then we can go to the gun and press B and we will combine it. Oh no, that didn't work. That's right, you gotta have your gun in your hand and then you've got to combine it with this particular item here. So let's do it this way. And now it is attached to our weapon. I know that's the best, right? And every gun has like different loading and different options. And there's like zero sighting options as well. We don't have a scope to be able to really show that off, which is a bit of a pain that has to do with zeroing. I wonder if there's in the tutorial so I can quickly mention that. Guns. So firearms, yeah. See, like literally the guide here, the tutorial doesn't tell you like anything. That's why these guides are so helpful. But yeah, basically, if you have like a scope on your gun, like, I don't know, that's not a good example, but let's just say we have a scope on this gun, we would zoom in, we would aim, and then we would tap right on the D-pad in order to go into the scope, if that makes sense. If you click left on the D-pad while you have a gun, notice in the bottom left corner that I'm changing the gun shooting style from full auto to semi-automatic. You can do that for a number of different weapons. Some of them will be doing, you know, you can do burst fire, you could do full shots. There's so much to this game. It really is kind of crazy. So we're going to continue to eat. As you can see, that even standing here, my health and food meters are not great. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So you now have two shoulder options, and you can put two weapons here, kind of maybe a shovel and a weapon, and those are on your back, a little bit easier to man, and they don't take up space in your inventory. As you can tell, every single part of your inventory has different slots and allotments. So this, you know, these pants can do 24 slots. This gun takes 6, that gun takes 8, that knife takes 3, that knife takes 4. This area 42 slots, and you can combine things so things take up less space, but you can only stack stuff so much. Cool. So I kind of want to get injured, but I don't really want to because I feel like I'll die. But you need to actually put a bandage in your hand and then hold RT when you are injured in order to get cuts. You will see a cut on the right-hand side of your screen, and your character will be losing blood. Tapping on the inventory with the back button will also show your character losing blood if you are. So keep that in mind. And there's a lot of different things you can do to combine stuff. So let's put a knife into our hands. This is an example because there's crafting in this game. So we can use this and we can hover over the pepper and we can press B, and then we can see we get a prompt here on RT that will allow us to cut out the seeds of the pepper. And therefore that will give us pepper seeds that we can use to grow on farm plots. So that's just an example of just really, really basic crafting. I don't know if they added the spears back, but you used to be able to make spears pretty easily, which was great. You also have these different slots that are basically your clothing. So your clothing you want to keep in good condition. You can repair it if you get like a sewing kit, which isn't easy, but you can have things such as glasses, you can have things on your head, you can have face stuff that will impact the look of your screen. I kind of was like wearing basically I guess you would say this gas mask the whole review I did, which kind of changed the screen outlines, so hopefully people weren't too annoyed at that. I don't know when the review came out, but anyways, yeah. So that will change things, and there are contamination clouds. It's best just to stay away from them because they will mess you up. So, cool, quick tips we can do. We can throw this into our inventory, or we can throw on the capri pants quickly by pressing Y. That will switch the clothing we have, and then you have to manually move everything over. Press Y again to switch your clothing options. So it's pretty easy to equip things in order to use things. When you are in your inventory, you can tap LB and RB to switch around between the vicinity and seeing the items within, or your hands, or your equipment. Then you can tap RT and LT to go up and down. RT goes down, LT goes up. You can also just go up, and it'll take you to the bottom, which is pretty cool. Great. I know, there's a lot to this game that we have to talk about. So those are kind of like the quick mechanics. Now let's get moving within the world. So other people are a problem. You don't want to deal with them. They can be an issue. And sometimes your gun can get jammed, which is a bit of a pain, that is for sure. And then other people can shoot you and cause bleeding, and that could very well kill you. And you get this like stuttering effect where people can push you back. I was not expecting to actually be attacked by somebody. You get the stuttering effect where you get pushed back and you can get knocked out, and then you have to respawn, and basically it sucks because you're in a random place. So yeah, there's like a stuttering combat effect. We were going to jump into that, but we died, so that sucks. As is the life of DayZ, like I said, no one's your friend, everyone wants to kill you, nothing in this game is easy going. So, let's do some fisticuffs training. You hold LT, you press RT to punch. You can also do kind of like a slam down, so if you hold Y, you do like a really intense sort of slam. RB and LB will allow you to kind of like evade hits. Keep in mind that that will take your stamina up when you do that. And yeah, you do want to kind of hit people in the head, so it is best to, some people suggest first person, aim upwards in the face, or generally just aim up to hit them in the face in order to knock them out. Zombies you can hit in the spine and maybe insta-kill, which is kind of cool. Oh, well look, we got Slinch. Anyways, yeah, there's so much going on here. I hope this looks fine visually, though. I should have done the Series X version. I wasn't thinking about it. I just kind of jumped in. But yeah, let's talk about scavenging. So in the environment, you're going to be going through a lot of houses and a lot of different places looking for things that can help you and assist in your journey. Helmets and stuff are great. Don't pick colorful items. I can't believe my gun jammed back there. That just kills me. Don't pick too colorful items because the world has a very like greenish, brownish palette. And bright colored items will make you stand out unless you want to stand out. All to your own. And the biggest thing that you can do in this game to get acquainted with it is basically get used to the different shapes of the world. Like, you know, these different places will have different items. Like these industrial places will likely have items that are of an industrial nature for fixing cars. Maybe you'll get like a wrench. Maybe you'll get, you know, like some epoxy things, something like that. I also love this mechanic where you kind of just like lock zombies into places, close the doors, and then they can't do anything with you. But we should probably also show off to a degree fighting zombies and whatnot. Oh, glow sticks are pretty cool. If it's nighttime, you can use a glow stick. Obviously, it will show people where you are, which can be a bit of a pain. But I think these are very glowy things that can be helpful. If you have like a backpack, you will be able to press Y on the backpack, or, well, combine the glow stick with your backpack. And that way you don't have to hold this in your hands. It will then be attached to your backpack. So that is kind of a neat tip there. Another mechanic to showcase is throwing, which I want to get to when I don't have to deal with the zombie here. So to throw, you double tap the X button, and then you hold RT depending on how intense you want to throw something, and then you throw it, which can be used as a distraction to deal with zombies and stuff like that, which is kind of cool if it works like it's supposed to. Great, so let's deal with some of the combat here. We've got ourselves a zombie. We are going to go in and we're going to fight the zombie. Notice that you do get these traumatic hits. It can stun you, it can hurt you. And you know, we got some rope. That's cool. So I was kind of hoping I would get cut. So let's go and let's deal with the zombie. I mean, we talked about getting damage in that way, but also showing it is a good idea too. So let's get in here and let's see, where did our zombie pal go? They usually follow you with like extreme precision. So you can get hit by a zombie, you don't want to get like knocked out, but you know, and then every once in a while you get like a cut. I kind of don't want the trauma. Kind of worried about getting hit. Notice how my clothing is getting damaged. I was kind of hoping I'd get like cut. I'm just kind of getting like trauma hits. Maybe it's got to be like no, it's not really cutting me. I just got knocked out from trauma. That didn't work how I expected it to. Or how I wanted it to, really. See, then you get knocked out, and then you can get back up, or you can press start to respawn, and then you'll get a new character. Zombies will now leave you alone. If you're knocked out, they won't keep attacking you, but if you get in a spot where there's like 15 zombies in a concentrated area, they are going to basically make it impossible for you to do that. You could try leaving the server and that might help, but you're still going to be like bleeding out and whatnot, so that will kill you anyways. But notice how slowly over time, as we're knocked out, we will eventually fully recover. You can see that the light is kind of shining. You can look around a little bit depending on how knocked out you are, and then eventually you get back up and then you keep going again, which is kind of neat. So we'll show that whole method here. Okay, and we are good to go. Kind of hoping you would just, you know, kind of get a cutoff. Really? Like, nothing? There we go. Finally. Awesome. Great. So now we've got 2 cuts. That's even better. So we're going to be bleeding out pretty fast with this particular cutting going on. So you want to get your bandage, or if you have rags, make sure you have clean rags. Or clean bandages, because that can get you sick too. And then you use that to get rid of a cut. See, that got rid of a single cut. But, alas, you know, I have multiple cuts, so I have to do it multiple times, which is a bit of a pain, but there we go. See, the bleeding has stopped. There's no bleeding on my character. I don't have that effect. And you will notice that if you do take damage and you lose blood, that the world will become more and more desaturated, with less clarity within the world of the DayZ action. So, keeping in mind, closing doors on zombies, watching your stamina, being smart within the world. You can climb objects, so can zombies. And they seem to have like unlimited stamina for the most part, so that is a problem as well. But you can climb and you can vault and you can move over things really easily. Wow, I didn't expect there to be zombies there waiting for me. And there's lots of different fences and stuff. I'm trying to find like a low-hanging fence that you can go to. Oh, I find that, you know, these smaller buildings are really good for finding the odd. See, there's the vault. These buildings are good for finding the odd food item in, or like helpful item like a weapon or something like that. I thought I closed the door. There's a person in here with guns. Ha! Ha ha ha. Who saw that coming? I did. Oh look, we spawn in the same vicinity. There are set spawn areas. Don't go inland unless you have a lot of food or are using an online map. I used to use iSurvive. I think there's also like an app or whatnot, but I use the browser. Basically gives you a map that will allow you to see where you are kind of going, but you actually have to read road signs and everything like that to get a full grasp of the different places you can go. Yeah, I know there's a lot of tips here. You can interact with bushes using a knife or your hands, and that can give you a stick, and you can use the stick to craft different things, and you can attach stuff to it, or you can hit people with your stick. So yeah, the road signs will tell you where places are. This is like Slechnishka, so it's kind of like a very sort of key spot. Very, very well known. And then there's other types of buildings. Buildings where you could find maybe guns. Military buildings. If you find airstrips, you can find a lot of stuff there where you can find better weapons. Oh, is that like a baseball bat? Awesome. That's pretty cool. And you can also combine things again, like if you found nails, you can make like a spiked bat, which is pretty cool. Medical buildings will have medical supplies. This is a fountain where you can drink from, but again, most likely than not, it will make you sick. So yeah, there's a lot of danger in this world. As I said, nothing is easy going. There's danger everywhere, and everyone wants to kind of kill you constantly. Yep. So that's the fun of DayZ, is just the madness that goes on. It is a game of challenge, and it's a game of mechanical elements, so it's kind of like hit or miss on things. I don't care if I come back or there. We just want to get back to what we're doing. There we go, so we're in a new spot. So yeah, you could drink water from different like little pools. I don't know, I think this is ocean water. I'm not sure if you can actually get that, but you can kind of get like damp standing in the water, so best to kind of ignore that. So there's a lot of complexity in the game is the biggest thing that I'm trying to get across. There's a lot you can do. I'm hoping that some of my tips and kind of different ways actually taught you how to play the game to a more like effective degree. That is what I'm trying to get across, is just like basically some of the smaller things that you might not know about. You know, it's kind of hard to outrun the zombies, so you do need to pick your battles, you need to be creative. And it's random too. You know, The first tips and tricks I think I did, I had no issues at all. This one, you know, I got killed by a person or two. It happens. As you're roaming around the world running into other zombies. This place sucks for, like, good resources, like starter type resources that you need. Along the beach, you might be able to find little boats that will have occasionally, not as much these days, food items. Greenhouses are good for that. You might find the odd tree that has an apple below it. You might find all kinds of hidden secrets here or there and little treasures that can give you an edge. You just gotta be smart, you gotta be creative, you've got to explore the world, and try not to find yourself getting eaten by too many zombies, or also, you know, not getting attacked by other people because they're not your pals. They are there to cause conflict. So be strategic, and generally I wish you the best of luck with your survival with this kind of updated tips and tricks going over things. You know, the game hasn't necessarily wildly changed, but, you know, do really keep an eye on your resources, food, water, as that stuff dwindles fast. Watch out for contamination zones. Begin to learn the new weapons and combos and tools and ammo. And best of luck out there surviving, because this game is definitely not a friendly time for you, that is for sure.